Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus Raw. This is from June 28th, 2021, and the upwardly mobile booking trend continues on Raw. I am very happy to say, now that they have Hell in a Cell behind them, they're looking forward to Money in the Bank. The booking has gotten better. The Riddle thing really feels like it is paying off. They're putting people in emotional, personal conflicts, and that's a very old formula in wrestling that works, and it is beginning to pay off. That's not to say that everything is good. Of course not. This is Raw we're talking about, and they had a big hole to climb out of, but we are seeing evidence of handholds and footholds, and that they are actually pulling themselves out of the hole, at least in certain situations. We see the Money in the Bank briefcases hanging above the ring. Jimmy Smith welcomes us. We got Byron Saxton and Corey Graves. We see a lot of superstars in the ring. We'll go backstage to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. They announce that Randy Orton is unable to compete due to circumstances out of their control. So tonight's Raw is going to have a Battle Royal, and they're going to open with the Battle Royal to determine who gets Orton's spot in tonight's Money in the Bank Triple Threat Second Chance Qualifier. So we're bookending this with matches that have been promoted beforehand. Well, this one is rather last minute, but can't do anything about that, right? Riddle runs in with a letter, supposedly from Orton. It did not say Epstein's mother. There's a joke for my old people who listen. But basically, Riddle makes his case for the spot in the Battle Royal, and his music hits, so I guess he's in. So, Riddle and Akira Tozawa, yeah, he's not winning. Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, he's not winning either. Jinder Mahal, Drew Gulak, Cedric Alexander, Angel Garza, Mansoor, R-Truth, Ivar Eric, Humberto Carrillo. That is a pretty motley crew. Everybody's going at it. Long story short, it was great to see, certain people back. They're like, where the hell has Damian Priest been? It's just so crazy. But at the end of the day, it's Priest and it's Riddle, and Riddle manages to win. So Riddle is going to be with AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre in tonight's Money in the Bank Second Chance. Riddle has the music changed, and now he's got Orton's song. So it's nice. I mean, you give him a focus and a direction and something that feels meaningful, and it works, right? We see the recent happenings between Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler, and immediately, and when I see this, and I know I'm not alone, you just groan. You just go like, oh God, this is going to be so shitty. Baszler, Nia Jax, and Reginald are backstage. Baszler is going to give Nikki Cross a hard dose of reality, and then send Bliss and her stupid doll Lily in an extended timeout. Why would she still be taunting Bliss about this? Bliss is watching from the background. Eesh. Jackson Riker is beating his leather strap on a production case. Okay. Back from the break, we see what happened in the Battle Royal. Kevin Patrick is backstage with Omos and AJ Styles, asks about AJ Styles, about Riddle being added. It should have been just he and Drew McIntyre, AJ rationalizes, but now his chances of winning have went down. They talk about the Viking Raiders and how Omos is just scouting them. So after the long and short of this is, he and Omos are going to continue to defend their titles against anyone who wants a shot, including the Viking Raiders, who he calls stinky. That's terrible. Nikki Cross is backstage. Lucha House Party walks up and gives her some encouraging words and props on her look. Sarah Schreiber walks up, and Nikki is happy with almost being a superhero. So she says she's Ash, almost superhero. Okay. She mentions that she's qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women, and says a win would be an inspiration to little boys and girls everywhere. She gets excited thinking about the possibility of being Raw Women's Champion. So, Nikki AAS, almost a superhero. Nikki Cross against Shayna Baszler. I don't hate the Nikki Cross gimmick. I actually think it's kind of cool that they're doing it, and it's fun. And she's obviously into doing it, which goes a long way to selling it. Long story short, um, Cross wins with a Mahistral Cradle, which she actually executes incorrectly. That stuff drives me nuts. There's also a couple spots in this match that clearly miss. They have that problem in multiple matches, actually. It's just odd. I don't know why that's happening. Part of it is how it's filmed and edited, too. I mean, they're just catching them in the worst camera angles. I don't know what's going on with that. That's odd, because it's something you could usually count on with Raw, that they would have that. But the WWE goes through fits and spurts where the editing and the camera shots they choose to use go through these patterns of just not working for a while. And are we in one of those? We'll see. We'll see. So Reggie and Jax are recovering because they got Alexa Bliss, right? Kicked in the stomach and then low kicked and all this kind of nonsense. So recent events between New Day and Bobby Lashley, including last week's Hell in a Cell. Here comes Kofi Kingston to the New Day. Go to commercial. We come back. They hype Kingston versus Bobby Lashley for Money in the Bank. Woods shows what kind of competitor he was. He sure did. And they're going to put some respect on his name, too. Kofi says Lashley won fair and square. What happened after the match was not okay. Of course, here comes MVP with Lashley's ladies. So MVP laughs at the idea of Kofi winning the title. All kinds of stuff gets said. Kofi exits the ring, charges MVP on the ramp, dropping him with the Trouble in Paradise, and all that kind of good stuff. And Kofi, but in the midst of that back and forth, promised that Woods would be there the next week. Yeah. It's a segment that probably went a little longer than it needed to, but at least it got the job done. We see what happened last week when Eva Marie and Doudrop had issues, then lost the Money in the Bank qualifier to Asuka and Naomi. So Kevin stops them backstage and said, Eva says Doudrop made a rookie mistake. So Doudrop looks like she doesn't agree. Eva calls Doudrop poor thing and says she's requested this rematch so she can learn from her mistakes. Eva says she will win the match, remain undefeated, and the evolution will continue. Okay, so Asuka and Naomi against Eva Marie and Doudrop. Long story short, Doudrop does win with a big running crossbody to Asuka. Okay, but Eva isn't happy. Announces herself as the sole winner. Doudrop stares down from the ring. Eva smirks back at her. Okay, so we see how John Morrison won a Money in the Bank qualifier over Randy Orton last week after interference, of course, from Miz and Riddle and all that distraction stuff. So Ricochet interrupts, and Ricochet brings out the drip stick and sprays them down. Silliness. Miz is in his wheelchair. Ricochet and John Morrison have a great match. This match is actually worth going out of your way to watch. It's really spectacular. They let these guys go. They let them do their thing. There's a double count out, but I can't be mad at it because it's based on that high crossbody from the ring to the all the way out to the barrier, and double count out. Fantastic. Great shit. It made them both look really great, and it was wonderful to see. Recent happenings between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Flair kind of goes on and on. So it's Charlotte with Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. I did like the promo part where she said, the three of us know what it's like to have to live up to family legacy. Really cool idea. Against Rhea Ripley, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke. This thing's a bit of a mess, more of those kind of missed spots and that kind of nonsense. At the end of the day, So Rose gets run over basically by Big Boot from Charlotte out of nowhere and gets pinned. So Charlotte, Natalya, and Tamina are your winners. But Ripley runs in and chop blocks her knee out. And again, this thing of like, who's the face, who the heel continues. I don't know why they're keeping that stuff so muddy, but they are determined to do it. So we see recent happenings between Riker and Elias. So Riker's backstage whipping himself with the leather strap now. R-Truth comes by. I haven't talked about the R-Truth stuff because it's really fucking terrible. And it's really predictable and it's really awful. And I just don't want to bring the show down with it, but it just doesn't matter. Let's put it that way. Strap match, Elias and Jackson Riker. Again, it's pretty meat and potatoes here. So it's a strap match, but you win by pinning the guy? Okay. So Riker basically whips Elias into the corner and then gives him a big side slam for the pin. So he's a babyface and he's triumphant over Elias. Okay, so we see what happened in the Battle Royal again. And then Damian Priest approaches Riddle, wishes him good luck. Serious Riddle says he's not Riddle, he's Randy Orton. What do you want? So when Priest mentions, well, I was looking for Riddle because I wanted to go to Burger King. So then Riddle breaks character and says, oh, I'm worried about letting Orton down. Priest gives him words of encouragement. See, these are like baby faces talking to each other. It's so great. And the women, they don't get that same benefit. It's like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for in this shit. But for the men's side, they're fixing that, most definitely. See a photo of the Hell in the Cell wounds to Drew McIntyre's back. That makeup job, why the fuck? Whatever. Back to commercial. Back from the break. McIntyre's. I really hate this promo. It's really wacky, and it's more it's terrible. It's fucking awful. So AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, Riddle. Riddle's kind of got it going on in the match. Hits the RKO for a great moment, honestly. But at the end of the day, almost pulls AJ Styles out from getting pinned. Okay. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore and then almost doesn't put AJ Styles back in to break up the pin. It makes no fucking sense. But Drew McIntyre wins and there you go. God damn it, Raw. I don't know why they can't get the wrestling part down, but until they do, I cannot pronounce that they have dug themselves out of the hole completely yet.